Okay, so let me quickly share my screen. So what was our requirement? Our requirement was that I want to create an application where um, we can open an account for a customer. Now there could be two ways. Account A customer could be available in my bank or it might not, right? What if the customer is not available? Then we need to start a customer creation form. If the customer are available, then we might have to go with the search feature of the customer, search the customer, if available, select that customer and then proceed next, right?
Yep.
So what we do now, this reference data is fine. Now let's go and create one, record for customers. So at least we can create a customer and then we can add some value. So who can guide me? How do I create a customer record? First of all, what are the fields we need for a customer? We have decided, right? Decided. So yeah, guide me to create a record for a customer. Where do I go and how do I create a record?
Record type you want to say, right?
Right.
New
Mm-hmm.
record type.
I'll give the name as
Yes,
customer.
customer.
Okay. See, description is not mandatory, but it is always a good practice to provide a description.
Yeah, sure.
Let's say I'm gonna give the name as ABC Bank. All right. Okay. So do we have a record table created for customer?
I guess not.
No, we don't have it. Then which option I need to go with?
Database. Okay. Then okay, this one, right?
I want to start from the scratch.
Yeah.
Next, I choose this as a customer ID. You see that it has defined as a primary key also, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we can have,
So by default, it will be auto incremented only, or
right? Yes, auto incremented.
and suppose in case, okay, in most of the applications, we need to have a specific kind of nomenclature for ID, right? Suppose
Right.
a particular department indication, suppose I 001, somewhat similar. So if we
Mhm.
want to do that, then how we can disable this particular thing, or
You want to
how?
remove this primary key.
No, that from database perspective is okay, but from Appian perspective, how we can generate that ID?
You want to generate the ID from Appian.
Yeah.
So you can define a field as a number integer. So see, to link with the record with the database table, right? It will
Haha.
need a primary key, right? Otherwise,
Right.
you will not be able to connect without it with the table. So by default, it will have a primary key.
Okay.
Now, if you need another ID to be generated and set it, you can have another field of a type number integer.
Okay. Okay. So from application perspective, the separate field that will be treated as a primary key, but from database end, that number will be there, right? You mean to
Right.
say,
Yeah.
right?
See, we need to connect with the record with the table. We need a primary key. So that's why they by
Right.
default they give it primary key.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay. You can have date of birth as date. Decided with the email, the text, and then mobile, and finally we can have one more column at the end called is active.
Is active. Yeah.
This type of boolean. Okay, so we are going with the customer ID. That should be the number integer primary key, first name, middle name, last name, all are text, date of birth as a date, email, mobile, created by, created on, modified by, modified on, is active boolean. Okay, all right. Anything else do we need? Which is required? No. I'll just say next. I'll remove this relationships. We'll come back to this relationship later and then say next. Here the changes. Okay, so my record is created, but the record is blank. If you see here, it doesn't have any data. It just given you the blank structure. Uh, Maybe it's not as synced. It is synced.
So for every table, we need to have that sync option to be enabled, right? So that that will be cached, data will be cached, right?
If you want to use the record relationship feature,
Okay.
right?
Hmm.
In that
Hmm.
case, sync is enabled, needs to be there. If you don't do it, then you cannot use the sync. I mean the relationship feature. So what's the relationship feature? If you want to connect two records, so we need to have
Hmm.
a sync allowed. So
Okay.
yeah, so we have this customers grid is available now, and then we see that no actions is right now because we have not created it. Now when we create an action by using out of box feature or maybe by itself, then we can have this all the record entry here. So let's do that. We will be creating our interface and process model for the opening the new account. But for now, let's say for this adding the customer, right? Because we want to have some customer details to be available into the system so that we can go and create a search UI, right? So I'll go and I'll say generate the record action. I'll go with the create for now. Come on. Okay. So we got this. If we go and refresh this page, new NOP customer. If you click on this, the UI is there. So let's say I'm gonna provide some value. Okay. So now this is a UI that has been given by the Appian. We'll see how do we customize this UI and we'll see how we can modify this. If you want to put any validation like that for DOB, it should not be future date, right? If you want to put some mobile characters validation, that it should not be more than 15 characters, such kind of things. If you want to do it, we will do it by on the screen thing. Let's say create. Okay, we'll add few more. So this is the quickest way. Create. Okay, this is fine. Three now entries are fine. So now we have this create customer, and then we see that the details are getting added to the system as well. If you see into the table, if you go to the table cloud database, NAOP customers is there, and then we have the data as well. Okay, quickest way. Now, why we have made this entry into the table, because we wanted to create a screen, or maybe we wanted to create one UI where we can go and search for our customers. So that is our first requirement. If my customer is available, then I need to create an account for them. If my customer is not available, then I'll go and I'll create a new customer for that. Okay, that's what my requirement is. Okay, that's fine. Now let's go and design the UI. So we are going to design the UI from the scratch now. I'll give the name as customer search. There are two naming conventions that could be followed. One naming convention is go with the camel case. One naming convention is go with the Pascal case. Okay. So either you can go with the camel casing. I always prefer the Pascal case for the object's name. But for the variable's name, I wish I should always follow the camel casing. So this interface will allow user to search the customer. Right. Okay. Now interface designing. There are two ways, as I said. One is the design mode and another is the expression mode. Expression mode is for the entire coding thing, and design mode is the drag and drop. So what we can do, we can design our UI by using the design mode, and then any business logic, if you want to do it, we can do it by using the expression mode. Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's say we want to design a customer search screen, so where we can have a field for first name, middle name, and last name, or maybe you want to search with the first name, email, and mobile. So those fields we can add, and then we can have a search button. So whenever user click on the search button, if the results matches, I should be getting a list of the users in the below. Okay, these are the search result based on your search criteria. Okay, so if I want to do create three fields, let's say we want to go with a section layout. First, I want to design a section, so I drag it and drop it here. Now in this section layout, I'm going to define name as customer search, and if you want to have any icon, we can have this. Okay, now this customer search, this is the whole section it has created. Inside this section, I want to define a column, or maybe I want to divide my screen into three columns. So I will use a columns layout. So drag it and drop it inside this one. I see that by default it gives you three columns. If you want to delete, if you want only two columns, just delete it. If you want to add more, just click on plus icon. Right now, inside this first column, I want to have a text field. So I'll drag it and drop it here, and I give the name as first name. So I want to have a field where user can go and search by the first name. Same way, I can drag it another one and put it inside the second column. I give the name as maybe email. Right. So I want to search with the email. Same way, if I want to search with the mobile, you can drag and drop it here, and I say that search with the mobile number. Right. Depends on the what business requirement is there, how you want to, what are the fields they want to enable the search. Right. Now if you see here, first name, email, and mobile, if you want to see the code, how the code has been designed, then you can go to the expression mode, and you can see that the topmost rule is section layout. If I close this, everything will get closed, and it means that all the code that we have, that is inside this section layout. How the section layout has been designed, the label that we have given is comes under a label. The label icon is text for this magnifies the search, and then we have a contains. Now inside this contains, we have a columns layout. Columns means S, there's a columns S and then without the S. So columns layout is a parent rule, and inside that we have parameter called columns, and which has the multiple columns. You see this one column layout, second column layout, and this is the third column layout. So inside the columns, we have a column parameters, and then inside the columns, we can use multiple columns. If I use one more column layout, now screen will divide it into 4 columns. Right? Now inside each column layout, we have a contents, and each contents is holding one text field. So here it is holding the text field for first name. Here it is holding the text, content is email, and here it is holding for the mobile. Right? Understood how the UI has been designed? Any question?
No.
Okay. Now, initially it wasn't allowing you to create a variable from the design mode, but now from the last release, it has also allowed you to create a variable directly from the design mode. How do we create a variables here? We create a variables by using the local variables. Now there could be a question: what is a local variable? Right? So we'll talk about the variables now. So let's say I want to create a local variables, right? We can simply click here the plus icon. I'll say first name, create another. I'm gonna say email, create another, and mobile, create. So what we did, we created 3 local variables. So what's the local variable now? If you go to the expression mode, you will see that now top of the section layout, we have created one local variable function. This local variable function is used to declare the variables. We cannot declare a variables without this local variable function. Okay, so now you see that this local variable function has 3 variables: local first name, local email, and local mobile. So to declare a variable, first we need a local variable function, and to declare actual the variable name, we need a prefix called local bang. You don't have to define the type of it. So why we have done this? Because whatever user is going to type here, it should be get captured. Otherwise, how do we know that what was the value it was user has typed in? Right? For that reason, we have created this variable. Now, how do we do the mapping? We can do the mapping directly with the code itself. Let's say I want to say save into, where you want to save. I want to save into local bank first name. So what happens? Whatever user will type here, the value will get captured to my local first name. If you see here it will come up. Let's say I want to say Raju. You see that first name is now having the value Raju, but it's gone here from here. If you want that value to be also available, you need to use the value parameter and then map with the same variable and comma. Now you will be able to see this. Now this configuration you can also do from the design mode. So just click on the field wise. Now here you will see that it will be get enable the email field. Scroll, you will see that save into local email, display value local email. It will do the same configuration that we did by using the code. So if I go and search for put that email value here, it will remain same, and it will also have the value in the local. See that? Same way for mobile, if you want to do the configuration, so just go and select the mobile field and then say save into mobile, display value mobile. Is that clear? Now if you see here, all the fields will be mapping with the value and save into value and the save into. It means whatever field we have designed, it has a label position above, and where you want to save the value, what I mean, and if you want to see it, then we also have to put the value parameter. Any question till here, guys? Yeah,
Could you explain about that refresh after? What does it mean that unfocus?
refresh after. Okay. Now let's say I'm typing it, some name, right? Now if you see that if still we are typing it, and if you have any value, any condition here, let me show you here. Let me show you. I typed it right, but the value changed in the local variable on your right hand side.
No.
No, right? Until unless I don't click outside or I don't click some other or tab out, it won't change. Okay. See,
Mhm.
I'm still inside this field. The value didn't reflect. If I click on tab, then it will get reflected. Now, if you want that to be changed as soon as you are keep typing, you need to change this to unfocused to key press. There are two values, unfocused and key press. Now, if I go
Mm.
and start typing, you see that it will also start reflecting there. I'm still inside the field, right? So that is the use of unfocus and key press. Clear?
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, Ravi, you mentioned like only from the last release only we are getting an option to use this local variable in designer mode. Can
Right.
you also show us like the earlier version, like how we can do that
Now,
without
earlier
typing?
version is that you have to come and write the code for local variables
Okay, okay, in the expression mode itself.
in the expression mode, right?
Okay.
So you have to come to the expression mode. You have to define this local variable function, and you have to declare these variables.
Ravi, one question.
Mhm.
So, is there any limitation that for the length of the name that we will provide?
For variables.
Yes, here the first name we have given like so
Mhm.
lengthy name, right? So, is there any limitation like we have to give only 32 characters or 16
It's not.
characters?
It's not. But you should be keeping it short. I think they have because whatever value you are giving to it, right? That contain that consumes some memory. So try to keep it short, meaningful, right? Not like a kind of sentence, right? It's a variable name,
Okay.
right?
Ravi, so one more question over here.
Mhm.
Okay, you just mentioned right about this. We can just keep short or somewhat, but at
Mhm.
database end we have kept it 255 characters. Okay, but
No, that is for
specific
the
require.
value. That is for the
No,
value, not for the
right, right.
name of the field, right? Yeah.
Suppose in database we have configured as a 30 characters, and
Mhm.
in look here from the UI we need to restrict that to
Right.
30 characters,
Right.
right?
Right.
So whether that should be done on this local variable, or how we are
No.
handling the validation
So
part over here.
you see the text field here,
Yeah,
right? And you
yeah.
have a validation.
Okay,
So here you can put the validation. So if you want to do it the manual, you can put it. But in the current version of Appian, they have given you the input directly. So we have a parameter called char limit. As we
okay,
said, let's say I want a char limit of 10.
okay,
See that? I didn't write any code. Start showing the error message immediately.
okay,
Right?
okay.
It
Got
says
it.
that the
Mm.
text cannot be longer than 10 characters, 34 characters received. Initially, it wasn't there. We had to write a code for this one. We had to write a
Oh,
if condition. If my length of this first name is more than 10, then display a validation message inside the validation parameter.
okay,
Still, you can do that. Let's say I don't have this. Let's say I don't use this. Okay, I'm just say validation. I'm gonna say that if length of local bank first name is greater than 10, then display a message saying that cannot have more than 10 characters, else nothing. See? Same thing.
okay,
But if business says that I need a specific validation message, then you have to use the validation. If
okay,
they say that I'm okay with the out of box message, then this is the one. Okay,
Thank you.
right? Yeah. So it depends what you want to do, what's the requirement. Usually business are okay with this message because this is a neat and clean message as well. It also gives you the count and then how much count you have, how much characters you have typed in, everything. Okay,
Yeah.
all right, great, good questions. Any other questions, guys?
One more. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go
Uh,
ahead. That's fine. Yeah.
Uh, okay, so there must be some okay key. Suppose the first name, it should not
Mm-hmm.
have any number. So the same validation goes in the same validation concept. Sorry, in that section,
Right, in the
or
validation
or,
one, right? You have to
uh,
put it here. So
or
if you want to if you want to have more validations, right? Let's say if you want to
uh,
have more than one validations, right? You can have this. You see, it allows you the curly braces. It means it allows you to do the multiple version. You can write multiple if conditions here based on your requirement. So the number of one requirement you can make it for characters. One requirement you can make it for valid characters. Likewise.
so where here we need to write a specific regular expression, or whether it is supporting regular expressions or how.
Yeah, yeah, it does support. So we have a regex function in Appian. There is a
Okay.
function called regular expressions. See that. Okay. So there are certain functions you can use that to use the regular expressions as well. Or if you can also write your custom code.
Okay, so whether they Appian does not provided any specific function right now you just showed that character limit as like only
There
number.
was yeah, these are the not the function. These character limit are the parameters for a text field.
Okay,
If you see here, all the parameters are listed here. In the below description,
okay.
you can find
Mhm.
all the things for this, whatever the fields, a text field provides you. So this is the
Okay.
description of your text field. So you just simply have to click inside the particular function and it will give
Mhm.
you the proper description. Let's say if you want to know about the section layout, just click inside the section layout. Here you will get all the information about the section layout along with
Mm.
the link to the community if you want more,
Okay,
right? So any function, just click inside and it will give the description.
okay. Thank you.
Yeah, great, great. Okay, so if you want, you can also go with your validations. Okay, now I have given the first name, given the email. Now what do I need? I need a button for search,
Yeah.
right? Now let's say I want to design that button by using my expression. So this is the content of columns. If I click here, all the columns will get closed. Now after the columns, I want to have a button. So I will use a bang button layout, and then I will use primary buttons. So primary buttons will be on your right hand side. If you want a secondary button, will be on your left hand side. So I want to have my button on my right hand side. So I'll use primary buttons and I'll use a bang button widget label, say search. So if you see on your window, on your UI window, it whatever we are typing it also getting created. I want the size of this button to be small. I want color of this button to something, right? So let's say what is the parameter we have style. So let's say I want to with the style. I don't know what are the possible values. Just put double quotes, it will give you. Let's say I want to go with solid. Okay, and if you want to have some image on this one, so that's also you can do. I think icon, that property called icon. So I think I want to use icon as a search. See that icon is being added. So you can see here what are the possible parameters we have for button and what are the values it has. You scroll, you will get everything. Right. On click of button, on click event of this button, I want to capture something, right? For that, we need to use a parameter called save into. Now inside the save into, what we need to do is the thing topic to think about. So what has to done? We have an input from the user, right? We have the
Mm-hmm.
input from the user. Now what has to be done? Based on this input, the system has to query the database and bring out the result, right?
Yeah.
So we need to design a query for that now. So otherwise, how it will be able to get that? But before going to that query and all, any question till the UI part? Is that local variable concept is clear, or you want to go in depth and explain you the local variables as well? Without hesitation, if you don't understand it, please let me know. Yeah, if you want, I can have a local variable explanation. Well,
I think it's clear.
okay. How about others? So well, the reason is that I know all the people are here experienced and they know about Appian as well. That's why I didn't explain the local variables separately. If you want, I can go with that. Not an issue. Yes, no, come on, guys. It's nothing to hesitate.
This local variable should be defined at the top only. So basically, just wanted to know the scope. The scope will
Yeah,
be overall.
you can define it anywhere. It's just you need a local variable function again to be written there.
Agreed,
Not like
but the scope will
right,
be entire of the particular screen, right?
right. In the entire
Yeah.
skin, if you want to declare anywhere else, like not, I'm saying like anywhere else, like some here inside the text field, we don't have the scope for local variable, right? We can't do it inside this one. We can do inside the save into parameters if you want, but not directly inside the text field, right?
Okay.
Clear, guys? You
Yep.
know what? People are not responding. Okay, let me give you guys a quick overview of the local variables, what it is, and then how it works. Okay, and then we will also see that you know why we need a local variable function and what will happen if we use more than one local variable function. Okay, let me go to my sandbox environment. I'll do it there. I'll create one expression rule. Okay, so first of all, what do we need to define a local variable, to declare a local variable?
Appain local variables.
A bang local variable function. Right, we did this now. Now let's say I define as a local bang name. So the variable name is name, or maybe let's say I'm gonna say first name. You see that I am using camel casing for local variable. Do I need to declare a type of this one? No, we don't need
No.
to define the type of a local variable. So this is the declaration. How do we do assignment? If I want to assign some value in it, we need colon operator. Okay, not equal to. Let's say I'm gonna put as a Raju, right? So this is what I declared. First name is Raju. Any expression rule that we create needs to return something. It works as a function. So whatever local variable we have declared, I just want to return something as the local first name. If I click on test rule, I get Raju as an output because we are returning first name. Now let's say I want to declare one more variable called local bang last name, and I assign the value called Kumar. Now if I want to return the last name, I need to change here to the last name. Right? I'll get the Kumar. Now you guys tell me, if I want to return my first name and last name, how do I return?
We need to concatenate both the first name and the last name. We need to use the
Right.
function
What
concate.
if I do like this?
only the first name will be displayed because it is not in an array. So
right?
So we can cover with the curly brace, then it will return.
Right. If you
Uh,
want to return multiple things, you need to wrap it with the curly braces so that Appian can understand you want to return multiple results, right? So I get two things. Now, if you want to return as a single text, in that case, we have to concatenate. How do we concatenate in Appian? Anyone knows?
concat.
and uh,
Right. Both are
and
correct. Both are correct. If you want to concatenate with the symbol, we can use ampersand. It will concatenate. If you want to have some space, so put ampersand space, again one more ampersand, then it will have something like this. If you want to use a concat function, then use concat function here, this thing, comma, space, comma, close this concat function. Both are correct. Okay, so whatever you think is fine, easiest for you, you can use that. Usually in Appian, as a coding standard, I follow ampersand most of the places because it feels easier for me. Otherwise, you can also go with the concat function. Now see that it says we are concatenating the text with the text, so it says the output is also text. Now if I say local bank age, right? If I return the local bank age, what do I get?
25.
Right, and it will tell you that it's a number integer. So Appian understand itself that what kind of value it has within it. Okay, all right. Now if I want to concat this thing as well, I'll put ampersand space is colon ampersand local bank age. Okay, so I can do combination of everything. We can use the concat, we can use the text. So as we are using this string and concatenating everything, it becomes as text itself. The whole thing you see is coming as a text within a double quotes. Okay, so we can combine text plus number integer or any other thing if you want to have it. So you can combine a text and you can return it. All right. Now, as Namdev, you asked me one question: can we have more than one local variable where we can declare? Let's say I'm going to declare a local variable here, and this local age I'm going to put inside this here, and I'm going to return local age here. Now, if I click on test rule, what do I get? Any guesses? So I have a local variable. Inside this local variable, and here I want to use this everything. So what do I get if I click on test rule?
it will write age as 25 and oh, incorrectly defined. Okay.
Now let's say I want to define a local. I'll put the whole expression. I'll put inside a local variable. I'll say local bank, like this. Okay, leave it like this. So why it is saying like that? And you see this one, right? The local first name does not have anything here. Local last name doesn't have anything, but local age is saying that there's some underline. If you
Mm,
mouse over here, it says improperly scoped variable. Why? Because local
okay.
variables are local to the function where it has been declared. Where this local age has been declared? Inside this local variable. It cannot be used outside of this section, right? That's why it says
Yeah.
local age is not available. It's out of scope. Now, how do I make it? Let's say I'm going to assign a local variable here. Now this local variable is being declared inside this one.
Right.
Let me change the name. So now this local variable is part of parent interface, parent variable, right? And the
Right.
output of this local variable, I'm setting it where? In my parent. So if I go here and say parent age, now what is my output? Let's say I'm going to put, yeah, 25, let's fine. Now if I go and do like this, I'll get my output. So there is a way of taking the value out of a local variable. We cannot simply directly refer that variable. Okay. So you see that I cannot refer this local age directly because it is out of scope because it has been declared inside this function. However, if I want to get it back, I need to declare a variable at the top level and then a whole expression as an input for this one. So now the output of this one was local age. It was returning 25 and which is get assigned to my parent age, and we are able to use the parent age because it was in scope. Clear?
Yep.
Everyone? So
Yes, Ravi.
if you want to use a local variable, make sure that that local variable is in scope. You cannot use local variable like define somewhere else and then try to fetch it. There is a workaround, but you cannot do it directly. If I try to, let's say I put a curly braces here and then curly braces at the end. Okay. Now if I try to access my local variable here, can I do that? Local bang. See, I'm not getting any options. Why I'm not getting any options? Because all the local variables are declared inside this one, and here this bracket is getting closed. So I cannot access my local variables outside of this bracket. Right? Now let's say if I have a local variable here, and use some, let's say, local bang name here. Can I use this local name inside this one?
No.
We can't.
No. No.
We cannot use that
No.
because all it's being declared is here. It cannot be used here. These variables cannot be used here. These variables cannot be used here. One more thing, can I have a local variable here as a name or first name? Let's throw an issue.
Yeah. Possible. Yeah. Possible is there.
Can we do that, or it will throw any message?
Yes. No. No. It will work.
It will work, right? Because the
Yeah.
scope is different. We can have the same name if it is defined two other places. Can we have the same name again here? If I say like this, local first name and then local first name again, one more. Can we have like this?
It should not ideally.
Yeah, we cannot. You see, it's throwing the error message saying that contains duplicate keywords, local first name. So within a scope, you cannot have the same name. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I hope this is clear, right? Local variable concept. And local variable is not like only you can use the text, integer. You can have any type. You can have a type of number integer. You can type of an array, list, string, boolean. All those things you can think about. Any primitive type, any custom type, you can have it in your local variable. Okay. Let's say for an example, I want first name, maybe list of first name. I'm going to declare new variable. I'm going to select this, say A, B, C, D, F, M, I, local bang, first name list. So you can also have a array of it. If you click on text, you'll get A, B, C, D, F, M, N, I, right? So you can have an array. So declare an array, we need a curly braces. You also have a kind of dictionary and everything. Clear? Clear about local variables? Any doubts in the local variables?
No, you can continue.
All right. Okay. Now, so what we did, we designed an UI, and that UI is now ready. So that's how my local variable is working there. I declare the local variable and I use that local variable inside the save into. And if you see the code, all this code that we have designed, the UI code, the expression code, are inside this local variable. Can we use this section layout outside here?
We can, but that variable will access will not be there in that
Right,
case.
we can do
Again,
that. Yeah, we can do that, but this will say that, the variable that we are trying to use here is out of scope and we cannot use it. So all the interface code also, we need to write it down inside the local variable function if you want to use their local variables. Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so now we have this search button. Let's say I am going to declare one more variable called local bank result. Now on click of my search button, I want to save something. So to save something to a variable, we need a function called ABankSave. And ABankSave requires two parameters, target and value. So target is going to be my local bank result, and value is going to something. Right now I put null. So value, whenever you click on this search button, I should be able to get the value from the database and set it here. So what is the output, value kind of, what is the type of value we are expecting from the data, whenever we click on the search button? We are expecting a value of type of record that we have, a customer record that we created. So if I go and search with the Raju, I need the data, the whole data of the Raju, like first name, middle name, last name, age, email, DOB, mobile, everything to become and set to my result, right? So for that we need a query to create first of all. Got it? That's a whole other topic. We need to create a record query so that we can go and search for the result based on the input that user has provided and make a query and get the result and store it to the local result. Okay, any questions so far?
For local variable, we are directly using that particular local variable name. But for this search button, we need to use this save, right? That
Now,
uh,
search button is an event. On click of search, what you
mhm.
want to do? So on click of search, I want to query something based on my search criteria and then
Okay,
bring the data and save it to my local result. So that's why I say
okay,
ABank save requires two things, target and value. Target means where you want to save the value, and value
mm,
means what value you want to save. So let's say I say here, let's say 5. For an example, I just click on 5. So if I click on search, what will happen? I clicked on search. If you go here, you see the result is having a value called 5. Let's say I put it here, ABC. Now click on search. So on click of this event, what value want to save to which variable?
So here we are predefining that, like it is a constant type thing, right, Ravi?
No, I
So
just given you an example that, if you click on this, what will happen? So whatever value will be here will be get stored to this variable.
okay,
So what we are gonna do tomorrow, we will create a query, right? And that the result of that query will get captured here.
okay.
Okay. So that's what we are gonna do tomorrow. So what we will do, based on the input that user has provided, I'll take all these inputs, I will pass that to that query, and the query will return something to me, right, based on my input search criteria. That result I will be storing to my local result. Okay.
Okay.
But for that we need a whole query at all. I mean, we haven't created the query now. Good.
Ravi, I have questions regarding record type.
Mm-hmm.
If we can have this 5 minutes, okay?
Yeah, sure, go
Uh,
ahead.
okay, so this record type can be created for view also, right? Database view. I'm just saying
Yes, it can.
view. It can be okay, but the respective action would be only the create and update will not be there, right? For that,
No,
okay.
you can't
Uh,
create an update in the record, right? A view.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That is a bit basic
Right.
database concept. Okay, so
Right.
but how that is handled internally while at the time of generating action, it is by
Mhm.
default showing as a disabled while generating.
No, no, no. See, action you can create, like it's not saying that you can only create the action on, only on the table, right? Action is like you
No,
will
no.
have some ID, you will have some ID on your record, right, for from the actual table. So you can define an action, and based on the ID that you are getting it from the view, you can take, you can query the data again back from the table and then update it. Or maybe you can write some event on click of this, something has to happen, some update has to be done. All those things you can perform by using, you can design a process, and based on the query you can get the data, update the data, and then you can reflect to the um, actual tables.
Okay, but
Mhm.
okay. So in this environment, right, community,
Mhm. Mhm.
can we create any view? Is it allowed
Yeah,
from
you can
Appian?
create a view, right? But the whole purpose of using this record relations feature is to reduce the use of view,
Okay.
because view was very complex, and the
Mm-hmm.
view was taking, see, whenever you query a view, right, it takes two times. Why? The first
Mm.
time, the first half it takes the execution of the
Uh,
view itself,
right, right,
right?
right.
And second
Mhm.
is the query that you are going to do. So that's why the performance was very low by using this view. So that's the reason Appian has come up with the record relationship feature. Just
Agreed.
like the way you can combine by using the joins in the tables, you can also joins to record itself.
But in that case, record type, we need to enable the sync, right? In case of
Right. You
relationship,
need to
okay.
enable the sync. Right.
So that that for that reason, again, we need to sync that data. So that data, most of the data will be in cache, right?
Right.
Okay. Then how? What is the limit or etc. How that that is impacting on the performance also, and how many records that will be considered for this caching? Suppose
So
in
I
particular
think right now Appian has, by with the sync feature, Appian has given you the 4 millions of record. Initially it was 2 million. Now it has been increased to 4 millions record.
per table, you want me to say?
Yeah, for the table.
Okay. So that must be performance optimized if they have given this
Right.
4 million, right? Okay.
Right. Right. Yeah. And that's
Okay.
the one of the, see, Appian, mostly people think that, they what try to do, they try to create an application, kind of database services, right, which is not good fit for Appian. Appian itself, this is that, we are not good fit for your data migration things, all for huge set of data, right, where you are going to work with the data every day, millions of record every day, right, we are not a good fit. Appian says that. Still some
Okay.
customer wants their data to be, kind of ETL job. You should not be doing the ETL job in your Appian environment. You need to create an ETL job in your database side.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
No, just question. Just I got that query. That's the reason.
Yeah. 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 So that's correct.
One more thing, just wanted to know from UI perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
We need to have some, suppose the particular application is being used across the countries, and
Mm-hmm.
we need to have some localization. Okay, so suppose
Right.
the Japanese person wants
Mm-hmm.
to see that particular UI into Japanese language. So how
Right.
we can handle that particular part from UI, and whether is there any localization setup is there
So
for
yeah,
that?
we do have a localization there. Let me see, and then there's a translation set is also created. One of the new function has been introduced here. I think you need to set the profile inside your profile. you need to
Okay.
go and then you need to change your language preference. Let's say
Okay.
I'm in Japan, then I need to change that my local preference of the Japan. And there's a function called translation shed. That is a new function has been introduced in Appian translation. I think this is the one that is used to change convert. Let me see. Used to reference translation strings. No, what about translation strings here? Okay, so this is introduced in the last version, maybe 24.3.
Okay.
So I
Hmm.
haven't used this translation set, but yeah, this is also used for converting your language. Otherwise, you need to go and in the profile setting, you have to prefer your language.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do a query for tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll write a query so that we can bring the data from the database. And here the data store was being used. Now as the data store was pretty slow in terms of performance for creating the huge amount of data, we will do the query record because we have the data in my record, so we can use the query record instead of query data store. Okay,
Okay.
so and then we'll query it and then we'll see how do we get the result back. All right then, any questions guys before we wrap up?
Yeah, Ravi, one last thing. So, as you mentioned, like record needs a sync. So, let's say we just a small example, day-to-day example.
Mm-hmm.
We have one record, and let's say it's a customer data table, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
yeah, and in the backend we have the customer table.
Okay.
Okay, and we are not enabled the sync.
Okay.
Okay, and from the back end, some let's say some integration service has updated the table, that customer
Mm-hmm.
table, and
Mm-hmm.
we are not enabled the sync. So
Mm-hmm.
while fetching the record, while fetching this thing using this record, we won't be able to get the updated data, right?
No, you will get it. You will get it. So what is the see? Don't get confused with the sync, right? You will get your data updated, right? But what will happen is that, okay, let me give you one example. How the cache memory works. Let's say you are opening your Google Chrome very first time, and you search for White House America, right? You did the first search. So what browsers do is that they try to look for the cache memory. Is that information is available? No, it's not available. Then what it will do? It will directly query the servers and bring the information back from the server to your system. So querying the saying cache memory is very faster is compared to the querying the server. We get the result very quickly, right? So we don't realize it, but that's how it works. Now, if you do the same search second time, again the browser will see that, oh, this information is available in my cache. They'll return the value to you, right? If it is not, then it will make a query to server. Same way, if you are not enabling your record, record will not look for your cache. It will directly make a
Okay.
query to the server. So it will take some time. So we are thinking about like small data, then it is fine. We won't realize it. But in the bigger
Mhm.
picture, every time record will go and query the server to get the data back. That's what happens. You will get it. Whenever you will query, you will get it. But that's how what it happens. It will
Okay.
query the database directly to get return you the result, which will make your
Oh,
query little slower as compared to the cache. That's what happens.
co-
See how it
correct.
was working when the sync was not there. Sync was introduced, I think, 2 years back. Until that, the sync feature wasn't there. So we were getting the data right, but it was taking more time.
Okay,
But
and
okay.
yeah,
Mhm.
and Ravi, if it's a lot of updation is there, if frequent updation is there,
Mhm.
right? And our sync, let's say we have just maintained the sync at 3 a.m. at night, so once in a
Mhm.
day,
Mhm.
and frequent updation is there, then it will get the data from the cache only, right? Will not get the updated data from database.
Now, there are two things. If your data is getting updated through the system, like from a process model or from the application you are running it, then your data will
Uh-huh.
get auto sync. You don't have to do it, worry about it. If someone is going and making the changes directly to the database, in that case it will be an issue,
Okay.
right? So it is going to be the responsibility of the person who is going to make the change to the database. They should be manually sync the record if someone is doing that.
Okay. Got
Okay.
it.
So how frequent this sync caching will be taken care
See, if you are
in the
running,
database?
if you are running through the system, if you are making some changes in the data through the system, then the sync will done automatically. You don't have to worry about it. That's what I said. If you go
Hmm.
and make the changes directly in the database, in that case, it's your responsibility that you can come and you do the manual sync. It happens, when the sync introduced to the Appian, for some production support ticket, they went and they updated the database directly, but that value was not reflecting to the UI, and it was like everyone is like, why the value is there? It's why it's not reflecting? It was not reflecting because the sync was not run manually again. The other day, early morning 3 o'clock, when the sync executed as a scheduler, then the value was appearing.
So
So
do we have any configuration settings over there? So at the
yeah,
time of
yeah, we have it.
suppose after certain period,
Yes, yes,
suppose
we
one
have that.
hour.
Give me
Okay.
1 second. So if you go and open this record, if you go to the sync option, you see here, schedule the full sync. If you select this checkbox, you will get your option for scheduling it. Okay, on this time zone. Okay, and if you want to see the sync history, you can check it here.
But here is static, right? Only one
Yes, only one.
option. Suppose if I want to go hourly basis sync, then
No, no, no. It's
with
not a good practice, no. It's not. You are
no
thinking about
from
a small data set, right?
no,
Yeah.
yeah, from master data perspective, I'm just looking into. Suppose some
Again,
categories, etc. In
again,
that
that's an
case,
ATL job, right? That's an ATL job that you're thinking about it. If you
okay,
want to perform some ETL operations on the data, which is not a good fit for Appian. You should
okay.
not do that.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, guys. I think
Okay.
I need
Yeah,
to
yeah,
jump
it's
to the call.
okay. Okay, thank
We'll
you.
connect tomorrow, and then we'll continue for the query record. Thank you.